Are you ready?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Little bit of a hiatus. I had to go on vacation, but we're back. We're back talking college football, even though football's over for the year.
Football's never over, Jake. We're just talking recruiting now. We're talking with Max Brown last week. If you missed that interview, that was fun. Jake, did they play football in Hawaii?
I did. I actually went past the stadium. I saw it. I thought about trying to go and check it out, but just didn't have enough time, honestly.
Did you see Tozilla?
No, I was looking for Tozilla. I did not run into Tozilla though, unfortunately. I think he was out doing Senior Bowl stuff. So I think I went to Hawaii. He came to the mainland. Just weren't on. Maybe saw each other in the airport.
Might saw passing in the night.
Waved to his plane as we went past.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, red-eye flights from Hawaii, they're rough. That kicked my butt coming from Hawaii on a red-eye.
Red flights in general are rough.
Yeah, that was not fun. That was not fun. There's all sorts of news. Unfortunately, not going to jump into that too much today. There's North Dakota State. There's all sorts of NCAA stuff. That's probably a good one for next week. We got all sorts of other stuff we're going to talk about today. And honestly, that's a lot of filler. And everybody else is also talking about that stuff. So we'll get to it later.
The Fargo Dome does deserve to be in D1. That's all I'll say about that.
Wait till the Kibbe Dome comes back. Wait till Idaho comes back to D1. That's when we know
Idaho. You said Idaho, not Idaho.
All right. So we put this poll out on Twitter last week asking who the top 10 coaches are and listed out 24 or 25 coaches and asked yes or no, is this coach a top 10? And everybody, we had more than 70 votes on every poll. So it's not like there was only 10 or 12 people. I know 70 is not a massive number, but at least it is a
good sample size.
Yeah, it's a good sample size for where we're at. Do you want to go through, who ours are? Or do you want to kind of start going through the results here first?
Let's go through the results first, and then we can jump into ours. And I just want to say, if I could fight a poll, I'd fight it. I would fight.
So it was interesting because there's some clear tiers in this poll. Tier 1, Kirby Smart, Curt Cignetti, Ryan Day, all had at least 95% who said yes.
Oh, let's preface, Jake. This is current plus resume. So like current state, how they're doing right now plus resume. At least that's how I look at it.
That's how you looked at it. I viewed it a mixture of both.
Yeah.
I haven't really broken down, but I don't know how everybody else voted as well. And
okay.
There's always the trolls out there that vote no and stuff. Like, if you're being honest, who is voting Kirby Smart no as a top 10 coach?
Yeah, a doofus.
If we're being very honest, who's voting Curt Cignetti as a no right now? The man just won a national championship. How are you voting him no as not a top 10 coach? But all three of these were above 95%. Ryan Day, Curt Cignetti, Kirby Smart. I've got no problem with any of those three in the top three. Top 10 for sure. Three of them have a national championship. I don't know how you would not say they're in the top 10 when you have the goal of winning a national championship and they all have it.
Yeah, and if this is your top three, I already have an issue with it. But we'll get into that later. No, I'm not going to say anything. No spoilers.
So there's a second tier here. There's two in here. Both of these were in the 80s. Marcus Freeman, Dan Lanning.
I love that. They're the same coach.
Top 10 coach. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like they're very similar, Jake. I mean, Marcus Freeman has had more, let's see, I guess success when he made it to the playoff because he made it to the national championship. Dan Lanning hasn't done that yet.
But Freeman's only made it once. Lanning's made it twice.
And Dan Lanning's
got his doors blown off twice.
But Dan Lanning has never lost to a G5 school. Marcus Freeman's done it twice.
Dan Lanning, when he loses, yes, sometimes it's blown out, but it's losing to Indiana, it's losing to Ohio State, it's losing to Georgia, it's losing to Washington, it's losing to teams that are essentially winning the national championship.
Yeah.
He has lost to the eventual national champion or runner-up, I believe it is like 4 or 5 times in his career already.
Which sucks. That sucks. North Dakota State became a D1 school before Oregon won a national championship.
Wow, what a stat. What a stat. Marcus Freeman, Dan Lanning, I think most people can agree they're a top 10 coach. I could see there being an argument there being on the closer to the middle bottom half, depending on how people view them. But I think it's safe to say they're a top 10 coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have tier 3 here. Both of these coaches were in the 60s, and I can see why both of these can be a little polarizing. You got Mario Cristobal at basically 64%, and Lane Kiffin at 63%. Here's a question I have. Is Mario Cristobal's number going to have the biggest fluctuation based on next year? Like if they take a step back with Darius and everything, is he going to fall? And if he makes even the Final Four again, are we going to see that number jump into the 70s or 80s?
Yeah, I think he would be considered a top 4 coach based on perception. I don't agree with it, but I think he would be in that top 4 range if they make it to the national championship or even win one. If they win one, maybe he should be top 4. Lane Kiffin, you've heard my thoughts on this. Maybe he's a top 10 coach. I'm not going to give any spoilers on mine. He's never done something for me that would move the needle in such a way to be considered top 10. In my opinion, last year was an excellent year. That's the best year he's ever had. The best year he's ever had. And he freaking left before they even made it to the playoffs. So, like, you leave gray area and some argument in there. I know I'm biased, but, like, what has Lane Kiffin done to deserve to be top 10?
I think Lane Kiffin is a good coach. I don't know if I would justify him as a top 10 coach.
I agree. I think the highest I would have him is 10.
Because I think there are other names on this list. What's interesting is when I went and pulled it, there are only 7 coaches that were above 50%.
That's wild. And you did how many? 25?
There was 24 coaches that were on the list. So Twitter only let me max at 25 tweets. So there was the intro tweet and then the 24 coaches. So I think Cristobal is right there, especially the run he made this year. If Cristobal had not made a run, let's say he had lost in the first or second round, I wouldn't have him anywhere near the top 10. I'd probably have him between 10 and 15. I won't say anywhere near. I think I'd have him between 10 and 15. But the fact that he made that run with that team, now I think he might snowball that a little bit more. Lane Kiffin, the jury's still out.
Yeah.
Tier 4, these coaches were between 38 and 45%. This is where we might just have Will rant for the next 30 minutes. Kyle Whittingham was at 45.5. Steve Sarkisian was at 42, which I kind of thought I was a little surprised he was that low.
Me too.
And then Dabo Swinney sitting at 38%.
And that's just disrespectful. People just hate him. But like that is unbelievable to me.
You got to look though. This year he's coming off a really bad year.
What have you done for me lately? I agree, but I guess it's so egregious to me because of how I looked at it. So I looked at it. I included past resume plus current state, and his past resume just does so much to me that
but
having
the current state is not a great
current
shape.
State is not where we want it to be. You know, coaching for your job is not where you want to be in terms of top 10. But what he's been able to do anyway, and then Kyle Whittingham. That's also another one. I'm like, how in the world have people not been tuned into Utah for most of his career? I mean, I would say him and Matt Campbell are very similar.
Do you think the move to Michigan changed perception on Whittingham a little bit, or do you think it will change the perception? Like if we do this poll again in a year, I don't know what Whittingham does. I think he's going to do well. I don't know if he makes the playoffs, but if you told me Kyle Whittingham went 9-3 this year, I'd buy that.
Yeah. And if Kyle Whittingham goes 9-3 this year, they're gonna think that he's the newest up and coming coach, and because yes, he's been great at Utah. Michigan is under so much closer of a microscope than Utah could ever imagine. So if he goes out there and wins 9 games, especially with all the
even though they won 9 games this year,
right?
Did they win 9 games?
No, they won 8, I believe, because they won the bowl game.
They might have won 10 with the bowl game because they were right on the fringe of making the playoff. Because if they had beat Ohio State, I think they were going to be 10-2.
They were 9-4. So they won 9 games with the bowl game. No, they lost the bowl game. Excuse me.
They lost to Texas in the bowl game, so
Okay.
they were 9-3 heading into the bowl game.
But the thing is, if he comes in and does the same thing, it's going to be viewed differently if the offense moves. And
they got to have some offense this year.
So I don't know. I think, yeah, 9-1 season. He's not on the debate line. He's in the proven.
Yeah, these 3 coaches, I think you could see jump up or down significantly next year.
Yes, I agree. But like having Steve Sarkisian with Kyle Whittingham and Dabo Swinney is diabolical, because you couldn't so Dabo Swinney and Kyle Whittingham are the epitome of steady, consistent winners. Where Steve Sarkisian, yes, he's been building, but he's never been able to maintain. And to have him in the same tier of them, I know it has to do with votes, but that's just nasty. That's nasty work to me. Especially when you have the funding that Steve Sarkisian has over at Texas and the backing that he has from the boosters. The fact that
I think that's why he was as low as 42%.
He should be lower, in my opinion. I don't have him in my top 10.
If Sark had not made the playoff last year, and I mean, they were down at the 1-yard line against Ohio State. Like, they were right on the doorstep of tying Ohio State and possibly going to a national championship game. And the year prior, you had Quinn Ewers down there in the end zone against Washington, where they were in the red zone. So he had has gotten
on the doorstep.
Total of 30 yards of possibly being in the national championship. So he's gotten right on the doorstep multiple times, but it's can you finish the job? Like, you've got it there, but can you finish it? Also, I think Arch Manning, just the lack of execution out of Arch Manning, when you have this quarterback guru coach who just laid an egg this year, like, that didn't sit well. I believe,
and it's 2 in a row, because what did Quinn Ewers do? And he was the number 1 overall quarterback.
Well, Quinn Ewers took him to 2 playoff appearances, and he won.
But statistically, Jake, no one was ever impressed.
No. Nobody looked at Quinn Ewers and was like, "Hey, this dude's the Heisman." Now, Quinn Ewers did have some moments where you're like, "Wow, like, this dude can ball." Quinn Ewers also got hurt after every other play, but
this isn't Quinn Ewers slander. But when you're supposed to be the quarterback guru, you've had 2 top of the line quarterbacks, and what have you done with them?
Quinn Ewers was like the highest ranked quarterback ever.
Yeah, and I would argue that those 2 teams were on the doorstep of greatness because of their defense.
Yeah.
So the Ohio State, when that defense was disgusting, and then the year before that, if they had a pass defense, they win that game against Washington.
The pass defense that year before was absolutely atrocious, and Michael Penix just ate them up.
You know who has kicked down the freaking door twice? William Christopher Sweeney. And to put him in with those other 2 guys, that's just diabolical.
How does it feel that you 2 share a first name?
That's great.
That
you know what? And if you switch his last name
every morning,
if you switch his last name with his first name, or excuse me, his last name with his middle name, we both have the same initials, WSC. I mean, we're essentially the same person. He just has a couple more wins in it.
Next time you talk to Dabo, you should be like, you and I are basically the same person.
Yeah, I'm sure.
See how that one goes.
Yeah,
see how that one goes over.
Yeah, I don't know if I can get that in time as he walks by me.
Walks by you, shakes your hand, doesn't make eye contact.
Yeah. Now this group right here, I think this is like a great group.
Tier 5. So these are 25 to 33. You have Mike Elko, which I was actually surprised he was this low. I thought he'd be a little bit higher because of the success he had at Duke and then also making the playoff this year. Kalen DeBoer at 31%. I'm not shocked that Kalen DeBoer is at 31%. I don't know about you. I think 31% kind of makes sense for Kalen DeBoer. Yeah. Kehlani Sitake at 28%. You want to talk?
I think that's only high because of this year, which is crazy. I mean, Kehlani Sitake has been a great coach for a long time.
Under the radar guy for
correct.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and I think that's where the not trust comes from. People are just now starting to figure out the BYU brand of football, and
Crumble Cookie,
the power of Crumble Cookie.
And then Matt Campbell is sitting here at 26%. Matt Campbell, I think if we did this poll 3 years ago, Matt Campbell is probably 10 to 15% higher.
You will not slander my king, Matt Campbell. I love Matt Campbell.
I think Matt Campbell has had a little bit of a slide off. I know he's at Penn State now. I don't know how that perception will change this year, but I mean, we're a couple years ago that Matt Campbell's name was brought up for literally every single opening.
Yeah, and NFL jobs.
And I mean, he eventually took the Penn State job. But there's also a little bit where Matt Campbell was a preseason top 10, team once and finished unranked with Iowa State. Yeah. So there's a little bit of, well, Matt Campbell does a lot with not as much. But then there's also the, well, okay, hey, he brought everyone back and they didn't do anything.
Yeah.
So tier 5, you've got Mike Elko, Kalen DeBoer, Kalani Sitake, and Matt Campbell. I think I would have Mike Elko. Like, if you were to go through this, I would have Mike Elko higher up than this for sure.
Yeah, I'd have Mike Elko on the debate line because of what he's done at Duke, what he did at Duke.
Kalen DeBoer is a weird one to me because the dude just continues to win overall. I'm not saying like win national championships, but he took Washington to a national championship. He won 10 games his first year at Washington. His 2 years at Alabama they feel weird.
Here's my question. If Kalen DeBoer had the same records that he's had at Alabama, at Washington, would he be higher on this list?
Yeah, 100%.
The answer is yes. The fact is he is replacing Nick Saban. So if he's not going undefeated and winning national championships every single year, this first couple of years, the national perception is going to be poor. And that is what it is.
It's also the way he's losing as well.
Correct. You don't get out physical, out toughed. And it's just weird. That's a weird brand of football for Alabama fans to see, and quite frankly, all of college football fans. So like you take that into account
because you don't have rushing yards. Like you actually have negative rushing yards for a program that's had Najee Harris, that's had Derrick Henry, that's had plenty of dudes at running back, and now you can't run the ball at all. Like at all, your offensive line is not getting pushed. Kalen DeBoer has this record at 98% of other schools. We're viewing him totally different. The problem is he's at Alabama where everybody views you have unlimited resources. You're Alabama. Your stats, whatever your composite talent, you're at the top. And you should be at least winning 1 or 2 playoff games every year, if not in the national championship.
Yeah.
And the fact is, you beat an Oklahoma team, and everybody watched that. That was an ugly game. And Alabama didn't do a ton to win that game, but Oklahoma really didn't help themselves as well. Kalani Sitake, I think his brand rose a lot this year with what he did and being on the doorstep of the playoff, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then how like the end of the year came out where he was going to leave and go to Penn State. I think that brought his name up and people really started to respect him in the sense that they should. And the fact that they're able to win where they are, they're competing with USC, with Utah, with Oregon, with Washington for these big time recruits. And they're at a religious school. So, I mean, you have to abide by Mormon, some Mormon guidelines while you're there. And that's difficult. And they're still able to get these guys to come there and play for him. And I think it's a lot of it has to do because of Kalani Sitake. I think he's a phenomenal head coach. I think he's a phenomenal person. It comes across that way. I don't know him. But the guys buy in. And I've never heard anyone say a bad thing about him.
So in tier 6 here, we have solid coaches, kind of limited belief overall, though. Brent Venables, 21% had him as a top 5 coach. Joey McGuire at 19%, which that kind of surprised me. I'm wondering if people know who Joey McGuire was because they had him below Kalani Sitake at BYU, and Joey McGuire went undefeated at Texas Tech this year. James Franklin at only 0.4% behind Joey McGuire, 18.5%, and then Kirk Ferentz also at 18%. Yeah. Hey, I think Ferentz is a better coach than James Franklin.
I agree, and he's in my top 10.
Joey McGuire, I would have higher. Brent Venables, I kind of understand that, hey, you did really well this year, but also your offense is still atrocious.
Yeah, he's got to have – I mean, he needs a healthy quarterback. Not named Jackson Arnold.
Jackson Arnold was not good. So we got 2 tiers left here. They're all kind of similar.
James Franklin at 6. Solid coaches, limited to belief. I think James Franklin and Kirk Ferentz being there is kind of disrespectful.
Would you have Franklin higher or lower?
I would have Franklin. I mean, Franklin is the epitome of tier 5, accomplished but not trusted. He is the epitome of tier 5. Kirk Ferentz, I would also have in tier 5.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that, and I think Venables is kind of perfect in this spot. It's like we need to see you do this more.
Right. He hasn't proven anything yet, and
like you were on the hot seat almost coming into the season.
Right. He's proven it as a coordinator. He's one of the best coordinators, if not the best coordinator in college football, but he hasn't proven it as a head coach. I agree with that. And you know what? I'm not mad about Joey McGuire being there. He had one good year. It was excellent. It was fantastic, but he had one. No, he was there last year too. But this year was extremely, extremely good. I need to see him do it again.
Yeah.
I need to see Brent Venables do it again.
Yeah, I agree. And obviously winning the Big 12 is easier than contending in the SEC.
Yeah.
It's just a fact. But I'll be interested to see how this changes. Tier 7, Kenny Dillingham at 16%, Jeff Brom at 14%, Lincoln Riley at 13%. Lincoln Riley, can you imagine where 5 years ago where Lincoln Riley would be? Lincoln Riley would have been like 70%. Now he's at 13%.
Yeah. I think, the perception of Lincoln Riley has been tarnished with the move from Oklahoma to USC. And then you sprinkle in the fact that USC just hasn't gotten over the hump since he's been there, mainly due to defense. But last year, they started to creep up to the doorstep to knock on the playoff. This year, he has a chance to get back into that 70%, I believe. I believe if they make it to the playoff this year, he would be in the 70% range. Maybe 60.
Did you see the debate online about where Jeremiah Smith would be a bigger star between USC and Ohio State?
That's wild.
Somebody said that he would be a bigger star if he was at USC because of it being in LA. But most fans outside of USC were like, no, Ohio State, there's one thing in Columbus, and it's Ohio State. LA, you have literally every actress, singer. You've got a dozen professional teams in all sorts of sports. USC is like an afterthought in LA. It's not the focal point of the city.
Answer this for me. How often does game day go to USC?
I don't know the last time they've even been there.
How often do they go to Columbus?
At least once a year.
Okay. How many times has Big Noon Kickoff been in USC? No one cares, but couldn't tell you.
Columbus like every week.
Right. So you want to talk about being in primetime games? Most of the time, USC is playing in the late slot that people are missing. So, no, you missed me with that. Jeremiah Smith is right where he needs to be. The only other place that maybe he would get more shine would be like in Alabama, and it would probably be equivalent. Yeah. I don't see a more marketable team than Ohio State in college football right now.
The USC thing because of Texas, I could see there's a handful of brands that would do it, but like, I'm sorry, you can miss me with USC being one of the biggest brands because they're in LA.
This is not
this is not 2003 Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush. I'm sorry, the game has changed. It has globalized more. Like it isn't as much regional. It's like if you're not in the big city, you don't know. Like Ohio State is Ohio State, and Jeremiah Smith is a more marketable athlete at Ohio State.
I agree.
I digress.
He doesn't play quarterback.
Correct. Dillingham, kind of surprised, 16%, kind of not. Feels like you did it once. Was it a Cam Scatterbo? Was it a Sam Levitt thing? Like Jordan Tyson. I think everybody really likes Kenny Dillingham, but it's like, hey, we need to see more results out of you.
And they weren't bad last year.
No.
They battled injuries. I think Sam Levitt got hurt. Jordan Tyson got hurt again. Cam Scatterbo was in the NFL, so that hurts your roster.
He was also banging his head against the wall, probably.
Yeah, doing Cam Scatterbo things.
Cam Scatterbo is going to join that new league where they just run at each other.
What a stupid game! What a stupid game!
When they make that in NCAA sports, Cam Scatterbo is going to be the national championship.
Oh, absolutely, because you can't concuss what's not there.
Exactly.
Him and Gronkowski would be phenomenal to watch do that. Jeff Brom being in that tier. I like Jeff Brom. I think he's a fantastic coach. I'm surprised that Twitter agreed. That 14% of Twitter
because
agreed.
He doesn't always have the 10, 11 win seasons, but you know what? He made the Big Ten championship game at Purdue, and now has helped Louisville become a legit team.
And let's preface this. The question was, is Jeff Brom a top 10 coach? 14% of the people said yes.
Yeah.
Not is he a great coach, is he a top 10 coach? 14% of the people said that. More people said Jeff Brom is a top 10 coach than they said Lincoln Riley's a top 10 coach. Think about that for a second.
It's actually kind of funny.
And then you think about the last coach we're going to read. That is insane, the amount of hate that guy gets. And
so the last three, we've got Brent Key at 9.8, Rhett Lashley at 7, and Josh Heupel at 5.7, which to me, I don't know how Josh Heupel is this low for a guy who made the playoff last year. I think there is just some lingering what have you done for me lately? Because you get blown out last year, and this year you had a very, I don't want to say underwhelming 8-4, but like you never really beat anybody good. You kind of just floated along throughout the season. I'm shocked that Josh Heupel was
he
dead.
Lost his quarterback in spring ball and was still able to go 8-4, and lost at the wire against Alabama and lost at the wire against Georgia.
Yeah.
I mean, blew it. And I also want to say this too. You stop me when one of these teams has made the playoff or one of these coaches has made the playoff, okay? Kyle Whittingham.
No, hasn't made the playoff.
Lane Kiffin.
Has not made the playoff. Well, technically.
Technically has not made the playoff.
He made the playoff, but his team made the playoff, but he didn't make the playoff.
Kalani Sitake.
Did not make the playoff.
Matt Campbell.
Has not made a playoff.
James Franklin did. Excuse me. Sorry. That doesn't fit my narrative. Kirk Ferentz.
Has not made a playoff.
Close, but didn't make it. Jeff Brom.
Has not made a playoff.
Lincoln Riley.
Has not made a playoff.
Brent Key.
Has not made a playoff.
All those coaches got more people thinking that they're a top 10 coach than Josh Heupel, who has made the playoff and has been a mainstay in Tennessee for a while and got them back to being consistent. You know, before Josh Heupel, Tennessee
was a revolving door.
Horrible.
It was revolving door coaches for the last 15 years before that, since Philip Fulmer.
But now Butch Jones came in there and revived him a little bit, and then he fell apart. And then you had the guy with the McDonald's bags. I always forget his name, Jeremy Pruitt. Then you had Lane Kiffin.
He just got hired, or was about to get hired, I think, at Maryland.
Which is insane. Then you had Lane Kiffin come through, and he did a great job. And then you had Lance Dooley with his checkered pants come through. He didn't do diddly squat.
Was it
Butch
Vince,
Jones, like I said,
or Derek? I forget which
Dooley. Derek Dooley. Vance was his dad from over at Georgia, so it was Derek Dooley. But wonderful pants. If you look up Derek Dooley pants, his orange and white checkered pants will show up, and you'll have a good time.
Straight, just a revolving door for the last 15 years that nobody could ever ask more than 4 years or so.
Right. And Josh Heupel shows up, and now Tennessee is in the conversation, top 25 every single year, recruiting at a high clip. I just don't see how Josh Heupel doesn't get more love. Again, it's not like Tennessee's a bad brand. It's not like Tennessee was some seller program that you couldn't get up. But he's done a fantastic job of competing with the big-time programs. I mean, he's competed with Alabama. He's competed with Georgia. He's competed with all these big-time schools. I just 5.7% when you have all the other coaches I named higher than him. A little disrespectful. He's not in my top 10. I wouldn't name him top 10, but that's neither here nor there.
All right. So speaking of top 10, I want you to run through. It doesn't have to be in particular order, but who are your 10 coaches?
I have them in particular order. Number 1.
Go for it.
And remember my criteria right now, plus resume. Number 1, Kirby Smart. He's got 2 national championships, and he's never won less than 8 games, and he's been there for 10 years. That is insane. Okay. Dabo Swinney. Number 2, 187 wins all time. 2 national championships, 6 playoff appearances, 2 seasons out of 18 that he didn't win 9 games last year in his second year coaching, and 13 out of his 18 seasons have been 10+ win seasons. This is where I don't get the hate for Dabo Swinney. You can hate his approach all you want. You can't hate the results. Number 3, Kirk Cignetti, and this is where I had a tough time between him and Ryan Day. I had Ryan Day at 3 at first, but I swapped him with Kirk Cignetti solely because of what Kirk Cignetti was able to do with the program he was at. I'm not like Jim Harbaugh saying that Ryan Day was born on third and said he hit a triple, right? Ryan Day took over Ohio State and didn't allow it to fall apart, which is a tough thing to do, right? When you're coming there and you become the
Look
guy.
at Alabama right now.
Right. So I think Ryan Day is a fantastic coach. I've really grown to respect Ryan Day, which is why I have him at 4. Marcus Freeman, I have him at 5. I have him right above Dan Lanning, solely because I think Marcus Freeman is bigger in the big games. Dan Lanning is a good coach. When you have the polarizing, Marcus Freeman will lose you some games you probably shouldn't lose. Dan Lanning will lose some games that he probably should lose, right? They're in those big time games where it's a coin flip. I have Kyle Whittingham at 7. Again, I'm encompassing all of his work. I think he's a fantastic coach. I think he did wonderful things at Utah. He's one of the reasons they're a national program. So hats off to Kyle Whittingham. 8, Kirk Ferentz, same exact thing. I just think Kyle Whittingham did a better job than Kirk Ferentz did at Iowa. Kirk Ferentz, 213 wins all time. That's insane. And he's coached there for 27 years. Only 10 times has he not won 8 games. Okay, so that's not too shabby. 3 of those were 6 wins. The rest were 7 wins. Very, very difficult to do year in and year out. James Franklin, I have at 9. You can probably boot him out if you want to. And then I have Kalen DeBoer at 10. And I talked about it. We talked about it earlier. If Kalen DeBoer did what he did at Alabama or at Washington that he's done at Alabama the past couple of years, I think he would be higher on this list. I think he's a top 10 coach. I could be very, 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 very easily swayed to take him off of 10, though. Very easily.
So I have Kirby Smart at 1. I think that's a pretty easy one right now. He just yeah. I've got Kurt Cignetti at 2. The fact that you did it at Indiana, like, to me, that is, I know it might be some recency bias in there, but like the fact that you came in and you have now won 25 games at Indiana in a program that, if you look at from 2010 to 2019, probably didn't win 25 games total.
Jake, and it would be tough. Yeah, it'd be tough for them to win 25 games in 5 years, let alone in 2 years.
Yeah. So to me, I don't care, transfer portal, whatever you want to call it. Like, this was one of the worst programs in FBS history, and you won, 25 games in 2 seasons. Yeah. Number 3, I got Ryan Day. You talked about it. Kept up the Urban Meyer, and actually probably honestly made them even a little bit better, and avoided all of the basically dumb losses that Urban Meyer used to have.
Well, and you know what Ryan Day's done? And maybe this is my perception doing this podcast with you. Ryan Day has turned Ohio State from being the bad guy. I think when you had Jim Tressel and Urban Meyer, Ohio State was the bad guy. Like, people hated Ohio State and they hated those coaches. I think people are starting to like Ryan Day. Yeah,
I don't think you'll ever get people to actually like Ohio State, but I think people don't hate Ryan Day the way that they hate Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer was not the most likable guy. You saw what he did at Florida. It was the win at all costs. There was definitely people who accused him of cheating and doing all this other stuff. Jim Tressel, I think he was a little too buttoned up for people sometimes. Ryan Day, though, I think he has done enough to try to help with like his perception. He just, he isn't a talker. He doesn't go out there and basically, there's some coaches that go out there and they'll call their shot and a little too animated at times. Ryan Day is not one of those guys. 4, I've got Dabo. I mean, he's got 2 national championships. All my top 4 coaches are all ones with national championships. You don't got a national championship, you ain't making the top 5. Number 5, I got Dan Lanning. I think it's only a matter of time. We talked about it earlier. He loses to national champions, basically. So, like, the only teams he basically loses to are teams that are winning national championships. He lost to Indiana twice this year. Like, there's no other way to really say it, but you lost to the national champion twice. You got really close. Number 6, I got Marcus Freeman. I think that dude has it. I think he needs a little more experience, but that dude just has it.
I agree. I love Marcus Freeman. He's making
7,
me not hate Notre Dame.
Yeah, I know. Marcus Freeman, Marcus Freeman is making a lot of people not hate Notre Dame, but then Notre Dame makes everybody hate them by opting out of Pop-Tart Bowl. 7, I got Mario Cristobal. If before the season, I would not have had Mario Cristobal anywhere near this, but the fact that you go on that kind of run and that you are the national championship and you are fighting with the dog of Indiana and you are going toe for toe with them, you earned a lot of respect from me. So I have Mario Cristobal at 7. 8, I got Kyle Whittingham. The dude just continued to do it over and over and over and over again at Utah. Didn't matter what they had, who they recruited. The dude just found ways to win. Yeah, he hasn't made a playoff, but I mean, the consistency at Utah was incredible. 9, I got Mike Elko. I think Mike Elko is a big up-and-coming coach. He did well at Duke. You know, within 2 years, he's got A&M in their first playoff, had them sitting at 11-0. I think there's a little bit of a bad taste in their mouth because the way that they lost to Texas and then the way they lost to Miami. And then number 10, I got Kirk Ferentz. I mean, that's a longevity play there. The dude just continues to win. There's not many other coaches that could go and win like that at Iowa. You see that Nebraska right now has been struggling. Iowa is not going to ask Kirk Ferentz to leave because it is a hard place to win and a hard place to recruit to.
Yeah, and honestly, like Mike Elko would be the one I would replace Kalen DeBoer with, or maybe even James Franklin. I like Mike Elko.
Yeah.
I think he's done a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think Elko is just going to continue to get better and better. And I wouldn't be shocked if A&M, we haven't dug into it, but I wouldn't be shocked if A&M is a serious contender in the SEC again this year. That does it for our Coaches Top 10 short episode right now. We've got plenty more coming, though. But if you aren't doing so already, make sure to follow us on social media. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you get any of your social media content. Make sure to go follow us. And with that being said, we will see everybody again very soon for another episode of the Walk on Redshirts.